was a street rat kid with no future, but I had a lot of ambition, a lot of passion, and I told myself, everybody that told me no is gonna feel real stupid one day. Between you and I?
Difference between you and I? Difference between you and I?
What's the difference between me and you? Me and you? Me and you?
Do you have any idea why they don't like you?
Because I'm different.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to What's the Difference, where we take a behind-the-scenes look of the shakers and movers of their respective industry and see what sets them apart from the rest of the pack. I'm the David Difference. Oh, what a difference a day makes! And you see today, man, we got a hot one today, man. My guy Danny Rivera is in the building. Danny Limelight. This is somebody I connected with a few years ago and recently just been talking some game, and he's got a lot of it, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on in here.
What's the difference
And let's get
between
this
me and
thing
you?
doing.
Yeah, mi gente, what's good? Yo, first of all, man,
Yeah.
I need you to send me that little opening clip to my phone. I ain't never seen I done so many podcasts
Okay.
over my career. I've never, ever been on a podcast that had that fire of an opening.
You like that? Yeah. Well, that's how we do. We're
was
different, man.
That was different. The difference is that was different.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely send that to you. And one of the things about this is like I've been hemming and hawing, and then you hit me up like, "Yo, let's do this," and I was like, "Let me get in gear and let's make this happen."
And
So,
you know, like, bro, first of all, you a dope ass dude. Like every time I see you, you show love. You never, you know what I'm saying? You never one of the people that rubbed me the wrong way, made me feel the type of way. Like it was always love, good vibes, you know, dap it up, keep it pushing, small talk here and there. Then we got to know each other a little more. I'm like, man, this dude is dope, man. So when I found out you was doing this stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, let's go, let's rock.
yeah. No, so definitely you're perfect for this because, like, I meet a lot of people. I mean, obviously, you see some people just go through life, and some people want more. Some people are just built different, born different, designed different, and you're definitely one of them cats. So we're going to take a deep dive into your life, your history, and kind of see what makes you tick as an individual.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking about people, non-wrestling peeps, this is not going to be a wrestling interview. We just going to talk about the man behind the man and keep this thing moving. Real quick, give a brief introduction for those that don't know some of the things you do.
All right, so my name is Daniel Rivera. You know, most people call me Danny. I'm known as Danny Limelight in the ring. I'm a SAG-AFTRA actor and stunt man that goes by Daniel L. Rivera.
One, action.
I served in the Marine Corps for 10 years. I was a staff sergeant. I was a Marine Corps drill instructor, made over 350 Marines. Was a Marine Corps first degree black belt instructor in the Marine Corps Martial Arts program. Trained over 450 Marines in the Marine Corps Martial Arts program. I served in 2011 under Operation Tamagotchi when the tsunami hit mainland Japan. I did a humanitarian mission for that. I'm also a father to a beautiful little girl named Khaleesi, who's 9 years old. She's also an actress doing movies and commercials. And I have a son named Zane, who's 6 years old.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I mean, that's just like, I want to say just the cusp.
Yeah, that's the surface level
of what you're about. Because like, I know you be moving differently. And then the other day you was like, oh, I got class. It's like, oh, you still like.
Yeah, I'm a full-time student right now going to school. I'm taking 4 classes. I got an anthropology class I'm taking, a personal finance class I'm taking, introduction to world theater because I love cinema, I love theater, I love film. I'm an award-winning filmmaker too. So, you know, I'm taking a lot of film classes right now. And I'm also taking a broadcasting media class, which has been learning me how to do this type of stuff that you be doing.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, kind of all over the place. So when you were young, like when did it spark in you, or was there somebody that inspired you that was like, there's more to life than just the basics?
I mean, shit, my pops was a hustler. You know, I'm Puerto Rican from Brooklyn, New York. My family's Puerto Rican. They were all born in New York. My grandparents came from the island. So I was a New York cat, you know, born and raised in the south side of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I went to school in East New York, Thomas Jefferson High School. I got kicked out of 2 high schools prior to that. I was a little street rat brat. A lot of shit I shouldn't have been doing, but I was trying to, you know what I'm saying, do what I was taught. I was coming up in an environment where my pops was a hustler, my uncles was hustlers. You know, my mom's sister's boyfriend was a hustler. Like that, my whole family was a hustler. The difference is I'm a hustler, but I didn't want to hustle that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I always envisioned myself in Hollywood. Like that since I was a kid, I loved movies. You know, my family, we always used to go to the movie theaters and stuff like that, watch movies all weekend. So I knew I wanted to be in Hollywood. You know, even in school, they called me Hollywood. That was like my little nickname. That I was also a huge wrestling fan as a kid. That at some point in my early teen years, I was doing backyard wrestling. My homies' spots, and then my wrestling name, was Hollywood. It's a fun fact. A lot of people don't know. I never really talk about it. So that was always what I wanted. I wanted to entertainment. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to wrestle, and I wanted to be in movies, but I didn't know how to get there from Brooklyn. So that led me to joining the Marine Corps at 17 years old. My parents signed the paperwork for me. They sent me on my way. My first duty station was Okinawa, Japan.
Well, tell me this real quick. So before the Marine Corps, were you acting up and acting bad and just needed some direction, or?
I think that I wouldn't say that. Like, I've never been arrested. So let's start there. I've never been arrested.
All right.
I was just following the wrong crowd. I felt like my environment. I was kind of a product of my environment. The people that I hung out with, the people that I grew up with. The people that I was in school with and shit like that, like they wasn't doing anything that was going to take them to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Some of them still doing the same shit today that they were doing when I was 17. So I don't know what it was. I think, it was crazy. The craziest shit is that, like, I never had any intentions in joining the military. So after I got kicked out of my second high school, my third high school, I met this kid named Kenny the Bull, we called him, because his name was Kenny Toro. He was joining the Marines. And he told me, this motherfucker, he said, if you come with me to my recruiting station and talk to my recruiter, I'll buy you a slice of pizza. And I was like, free pizza, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I show up to this recruiting station. I walk in the door, and this staff sergeant, name was Staff Sergeant Rosario. We called him Ricky Ross, the boss. He looks at me and he says, hey, Toro, get this kid out of my office. He can't be a Marine. And in my head, I was like, what the fuck is dude talking about? I'm here for pizza, bro. Like, right. But I was like, but I looked at him and I realized he was saying that because how I was dressed. I was smaller. I had my pants sagging. I had a big ass white tee on, you know what I'm saying? Blue Yankee fitted. Like, I was dressed like a New Yorker. You feel me? Like, growing up in that time. And he said, walk across the street to the army recruiting station. They'll take him. And at that time, I had no intentions of joining the Marine Corps or any military. Like, I wanted to play baseball, like that's all I knew how to do, because I didn't know how to wrestle. I didn't know about independent wrestling. And I didn't know how to get into film. I mean, my parents had no money for me to go to college. I didn't want to take out loans. I had no plan, bro. Like when I tell you I had all these dreams with no plan.
Yeah, okay.
So I leave this office and I start walking to the Army recruiting office now. Like, I'm walking over there like I'm about to join the Army, but I had no, like, bro, just because the way he talked to me and ordered me to go do that shit, I was like, I guess I gotta listen to this motherfucker now. Like, so I start walking over there and I see this Army soldier. He comes out of the office. He lights a cigarette. And I'm not throwing no shots at the Army, but the Marine Corps is the best branch. But I'm not throwing, like, but I'm trying to paint the picture for the audience that's listening. What's the difference between the Army and the Marines? I'm going to tell you. I walked into the Marine recruiting station with my pants sagging and a big white tee. He sent me to the Army. As I'm walking over to the Army recruiting station, this soldier comes out with a cigarette, lights a cigarette, pulls his phone out, and starts talking and puffing a cigarette. I never smoked a cigarette in my life. Right. But it just looked so unprofessional to me that I was like, oh, this is how he views me right here. Like a cigarette smoking bozo. You feel me?
Well, so tell me, so you keyed in on that, like standard.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was a setup, like the soldier the dude was just coming out to smoke a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The military stress you the fuck out. Everybody be smoking cigarettes. Right. So I just stopped and I looked and I was just like I don't know what it was, but it clicked. Like that's how he sees me right now. Like, he don't think I'm good enough to do what he's doing because he was dressed in his dress blues, looking spiffy as hell. You feel me? So I stopped and I turned back around. And I walked in. I said, I'm going to be a Marine and you can't tell me otherwise.
There you go.
I must have been the easiest sign up for him ever.
Right. Don't test me, right?
Yeah, I must have been he must, this was a walk in the park. He sat me down. I took the test. I passed the test. He said, you 17, your parents got a sign. So I went home and I told my parents, I was like, how would you feel if I went to the Marines? And they were like, go. Like they were ready to get me out the house. Like, they're like, go. But it's funny because I did an interview with the Big Show when I was at AEW a while back. And I told this story. Like my parents used to always joke, or maybe not joke, but threaten me and say, you remember when like Maury and Springer used to have the drill sergeants come and screaming at these kids?
Yeah, they're straight.
My parents used to threaten me and say, if you keep acting up, I'm gonna send you there. So here I am now, like, hey, I want to go. You know,
right.
I didn't know what the Marine Corps was. All I knew at that time was that the Marines was the main characters on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare had just dropped on the PS3. So I'm in the crib, like, all right, I'm going to be a Marine. I need to know what these motherfuckers do. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm playing Call of Duty online. I'm no-scoping dudes and doing all this cool-ass shit. It was a reality check as soon as I got to boot camp, bro. I'm like, this ain't what the game said. Like, these guys are screaming in my face. Like, all types of craziness was happening in boot camp. Fast forward full circle, I became one of those guys and was the one training Marines once I became a sergeant and stuff like that. I made it all the way to the rank of staff sergeant, and then I got out of the military and went full force into professional wrestling.
Well, so I mean, that's a testament right there, because a lot of people, when they get in, they're like, I'm not built for this. Like, you can even go to a new job where you don't know what the fuck to do, and you're shook and you question yourself. So going in there with that mentality, people yelling at you, is completely different than what you're used to. Like, what was the internal message that was going on with you to say, stick through it? Like, let's climb this ladder.
I didn't want to be a failure. You know, like I had a drill instructor. His name was Drill Instructor Sergeant Askew, but we called him Drill Instructor Sergeant Sir because he said we didn't rate to say his last name, right? But he was like, he was cold. Like, he walked a certain way. His uniform always looked tight. And he was always in the front, like outrunning all these little 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids. Like, he was just a beast. And he made it like his mission to try to break me. Like, he wanted to break me down, make me cry. Like, he wanted me to quit, you know? For a good, like, he had the best intentions behind it, though.
Right.
And as I said, I'm like, I'm not about to give you the satisfaction of making me tap. Like, it's not going to happen. And then it happened. Like, he broke me. And I remember I went to go talk to my senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Iddens. And I said, sir, this recruit ain't made for this. Like, this recruit ready to go. Like, I was ready to tap. You know, I was like, I can't, like this. I had no idea what I got myself into. I had no intentions of ever joining the military. Here I am, 17 years old, getting thrashed every day. Like, and I talked to my senior drill instructor and he said, I'm not going to let you quit. He's like, you better figure it out. And it was just something, that conversation, when someone else believed in me and didn't want to see me quit. And then someone else like playing like that heel, the bad guy, you know what I'm saying? It's like a heel in the face here. Like, one believes in me, the other one's trying to break me down.
Like, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, it's exactly what it felt like. And so I took it as a challenge. And I went back out there and I got to it and I busted and I killed it. I became, you know, I graduated. I got promoted out of boot camp. I got promoted to private first class instead of private. And to this day, I have conversations with Drill Instructor Sergeant Sir. He's about to be a sergeant major now, if he's not already a sergeant major. Okay. So, you know, fast forward, that was 2009. So it's been almost 15 years later. You know, I still talk to this dude, you know, and you know, all my drills, they got me on Facebook and shit and Instagram, and they see all the shit that I'm doing now. They always show love and stuff like that. So, but it was crazy because it changed my life. And like, the military was the best decision I ever made. You know, I know a lot of people are against the military and stuff like that. But for me, like, it took a kid that had nothing going for him, no plans, nothing, you know what I'm saying? And like, got me right. You know, I learned a lot. I became the best version of myself at that time. Traveled the world, got into the best physical, you know, shape possible, did a lot of deployments, like, you know, just put on. And then I went back and then I gave my part by making Marines. You know, I made them in the image of me. And the image of the Marine Corps standard is. And I was the standard. You know, I was the honor graduate out of drill instructor school. I graduated #1. Drill instructor of the quarter, you know, best new drill instructor. I was a monster, bro. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was a monster. achievements, physical fitness scores, rifle scores, pistol scores.
He was the guy.
Yeah, my shit was fire.
And that's interesting because I just did an interview with he's a retired police sergeant out here, and now he's an entrepreneur and just travels, does whatever he wants. But like he's like the go-to. They call him the Sin City Super Cop. But like he ended the interview with saying that like the military, like you got to get in there. It gives you something that a lot of people don't know they need until they get it. And like looking back, it's like, man, that changed me.
That shit made me beast, bro. Like it just sets a different bar of what bare minimum effort is. You know, like I don't give bare minimum in anything that I do. I take it very seriously. I enjoy life. Like anybody that knows me knows I enjoy life. You know, like I have fun, I play around, I do my thing, but like everything that I do, I'm passionate about. I put 100% into it every time, and that was something that the Marine Corps taught me.
Right. Know? So before that, was there something that you were passionate about, like actively pursuing? Like you said, you had no direction, but was
nothing, bro.
Nothing. Was there somebody who, like, you had the drill instructor, somebody that cared, and then somebody that pushed you maybe in a negative way, but either way, did you have somebody, a family member, or somebody that was like, I need to be like this person?
Nah, I mean, when I was growing up, I wanted to be like my dad, you know. But you know, when you get older and you figure out what the hustling is that he do, you know, I'm not throwing no shots at my pops. Like he did what he had to do, but I didn't learn. I didn't learn about life from my family. You know, I learned about what their life was, you know, and how they survived. But how they survived wasn't going to cut it for me.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to be on the block. I didn't want to stay in the same neighborhood I grew up in. My family, none of my family left, you know, like they're all there, you know? So it's like something about me, I don't even know how to explain. I always wanted to leave New York. I always wanted to come here to LA. I always wanted to be in films. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be making a difference. I wanted kids. Like, I just didn't like, it's like you want to find hidden treasure, but you don't have a map. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, how do you get there? You know, like how does a 5'1", 115-pound kid, that's what I was at 17 years old, become a professional wrestler? You know, I had a growth spurt after boot camp. I gained weight after boot camp, you know, and then even after the Marine Corps, I gained more weight, you know, like you just, when I look back on my life, it's crazy because nothing lined up to that.
Right.
Some people will say, oh, I always saw that. I always saw you doing this. And people sometimes now they hit me up and say stuff like that, but I didn't even see it. Like, I think I wanted it, but I didn't know how to get it.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing. Is a lot of times like other people see our magic before we see it. And some people will never see their own magic. But I mean, that's the thing. Just meeting you now is like you got that it factor, that like that confidence, that, you know, just that extra.
I'm gonna tell you, like, speaking of how crazy shit is, like this is like how I got into pro wrestling is even crazier.
Okay.
Because as a Marine, I had just found out this shorty I was dating got pregnant with my daughter, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, I guess I gotta marry her now, right? So I married her and I needed more money. So I started hustling a second job at a jewelry store, right? Okay. Selling rings at a jewelry store, which was centrally located close to the base. So a lot of the customers that came in were Marines, military personnel. They always getting married over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this one guy walks into the jewelry store to buy a ring. His name was, I knew him as Corporal Phillips because I knew him from base. But little did I know he was a huge wrestling fan. So I sold him the ring that he proposed to his wife with, right? Okay. He bought it for like 4 bands. That was my only interaction with him, right? I knew him from base. He knew me because I was a corporal in the battalion. I was doing my thing, training Marines and shit. We had a little conversation. I sold him the ring. I sold him the ring, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to see him happy, but I'm trying to make commission on this ring, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, I'm in Target with my daughter now. My daughter's born. It's a year later. And I'm pushing her a Target cart with my daughter sitting in the thing. And she swings her hand and knocks down some Blu-rays, right? Yeah. So I start picking these Blu-rays up, and one of them was The Rock's top 10 greatest matches, right?
Yep.
So I was a huge Rock fan growing up. I'm like, man, I ain't seen wrestling in years, bro. Like, I stopped watching it. I stopped watching wrestling like once Eddie Guerrero died. You know, I never knew about TNA. I never knew about New Japan, independent. Like, I didn't know. All I know was WWE, and I knew WCW because the invasion angle. That was it. I wasn't a wrestling guy. Like I didn't know wrestling like that. I just knew what I saw on my TV.
Well, you saw it as a kid. Like, what era did you start watching wrestling?
My first match I ever watched was 1987 Bad Blood when Undertaker and Shawn Michaels wrestled.
Okay.
That was like my first introduction to wrestling. You know, my
Yeah.
dad liked it a lot. He was a huge fan. Ultimate Warrior was his guy. You know, he watched all that shit back in the day. So I go home. I sit my daughter in the little bopper. She's a little, no bigger than like a little, you know what I'm saying, baby. Sitting there with a bottle. And I put this on. I'm watching wrestling with my daughter, right? Her mom's come home and she's like, why is my daughter watching wrestling and why is Dwayne Johnson on TV? She had no idea that The Rock was a wrestler before he was an actor.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm like, you never seen wrestling? Like, that's crazy to me. So I looked online and I found tickets to WWE coming to town in San Diego. I thought it'd be a cool date night to go watch wrestling. We got a babysitter. We went to go watch wrestling in San Diego. And I run into the guy that I sold the ring to the year before.
Okay.
Watching wrestling. I run into him there and he tells me, I'm training to be a pro wrestler. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean, bro? You're a Marine. Like, what do you mean you're training to be a pro wrestler? He gives me this location to this school. I go start training. And now here I am. Like my daughter's mom, Miranda, she's actually the one that paid for my first few months of wrestling training.
Okay.
Because she was like, she thought it was a hobby. She, you know, you want to get out the house, you need a hobby. Go here. It is $150. Go wrestle. You know, she had no idea that she opened the door to what would be my future.
From Brooklyn, New York, weighing in at 190 pounds, he is the reigning United Wrestling Network World Champion.
So starting that, I mean, just like with the Marine Corps, like when you start wrestling ain't easy for everybody. Like you hear the fake shit, like let's just let that go. But training is tough. And then not only to train, but then to have the personality and have the push through. Was that a reminder back to the military of like, you know, I got to push through this? Was there time?
I was still in the Marines at the time.
Okay.
So I was still in the Marines. I was a sergeant now at this point. So I had a little bit more free time, you know, a little more me time, where I can go to train twice a week and then like wrestle one weekend out the month, you know, and still while being a father and a husband and a Marine and all this shit that I was doing. I was a volunteer youth sports coach. So I was coaching kids part-time, basketball and baseball as well. Okay. So I had a full pack schedule and the training was intense, but I'm going to keep it 100. Like the physical fitness, the physical part of it was nothing to me. The Marine Corps, there's no training like the Marine Corps training.
Yeah, I bet.
At all. There's no training like the Marine Corps training. But understanding the business, understanding that this is how it works, that was what was hard for me to grasp because I had a huge chip on my shoulder because here I am, a sergeant, go get a black belt, expert rifle shooter, expert pistol shooter. You know, I'm the guy in the Marines. I'm winning all these meritorious promotion boards and stuff like that. And now I'm coming into wrestling and I'm green boy. You know, nobody's giving me respect. You know, it was like, oh, it's just, you know, wrestle Danny Limelight, whatever. And so that was the hard part for me was understanding that.
That internal dialogue.
I was sore. Don't get me wrong. I was sore. I had bruises from the ropes, hitting the ropes. I had bruises on my back. I had bruises from the bumps. Like I was sore, but it wasn't something that made me want to quit because I already had been through the most crazy training in my life with the military. You understand? So I start wrestling, and then in my first year, I get a call from David Marquez from United Wrestling Network back then, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, where he wants to bring me in. And now this is my part where I give David Marquez his flowers because he's the guy that really got me my start in wrestling. He's the guy that put me on his TV program, taught me how to wrestle TV. He's the guy that started giving me microphones, start talking promos backstage. I learned professional wrestling through David Marquez.
Okay.
And then once I started wrestling on his program, I started getting better, started getting more independent bookings. And then that's when I started traveling. It was actually also through Marquez where I met Rocky Romero, who's the one that introduced me and opened the doors for a New Japan tryout.
Okay.
Rocky was the one that got me into New Japan.
Take me to Marquez. Like what is it? I mean, I don't know if he told you or what you suspected that he saw in you to like bring you in and say, let's go.
Honestly, man, I think that at the time, the school that I never said the school that I trained for, I got my start with because I don't give them any kind of advertisement out my mouth ever because they kicked me out their school and told me I'll never wrestle again.
Based on
me taking other bookings in other cities and winning matches in other cities.
Okay.
They said I went into business for myself. You're wrestling this company, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you guys are paying me no money to wrestle here. Like, I'm taking other bookings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so tell me this, and like I saw the video where you said 7 years, they like nobody wanted to touch me, yada yada yada. Was that a result of that? Just
it wasn't 7, like it was 7. I've been with Marquez 7 years now, almost 8 years now.
okay.
But at the time when he pulled me in, nobody wanted to use me because this one company tried to blackball me on the internet and say, don't use Danny Limelight. So I think the reason why Marquez brought me in was to kind of like, he wanted to hear my side of the story, is how it started. He's like, I want to hear your side of the story. I had never met him at this point of this phone conversation. I don't know how he got my number. No, I just know that he calls me and says, I want to hear your side of the story. And I'm like, who the fuck is David Marquez?
Right.
So I go on my Facebook and I type in David Marquez and I see who he is. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to come from this conversation, you know? So I started talking to him, yada, yada. I always think that he saw potential in me. Obviously, why would he bring me to his company and put me on a TV program? But I also think it was like, he's Puerto Rican, I'm Puerto Rican. These guys are trying to put down a Puerto Rican kid. Let me hear what kind of side of story this guy's talking. Maybe he wanted to see if I was a piece of shit for himself. I've never really even asked him, Dave, why did you bring me in? Or Dave, why am I your world heavyweight champion over 300 days now? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never been conversations. I know why I'm his world champion. Now I'm the guy.
Yeah. I see. That's,
you know
that's apparent.
How I got from tell me your side of the story to here, I don't know. But I always give credit to David Marquez because I learned wrestling through him. I met Rocky Romero through him. I got to New Japan. I learned how to work TV because of him. That's why I was wrestling on New Japan Strong. That's why I got to AEW and was a regular on their program during the pandemic for a year. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got to MLW and all these other places. It was through him. And a lot of people like to shit on him and not give him his flowers, but he's done a lot for a lot of people in this business.
Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful. Is there, like, you got a hell of a mouthpiece. Like, obviously you got that confidence and you're a talker, man. I ain't never seen you shy up. Where does that come from? Like,
that's just from, you know what I'm saying, Brooklyn. I mean,
Brooklyn.
street talking, all that stuff, you know, that's confidence from growing up in the hood, honestly. Just shooting the shit with the boys, talking shit with my uncles, my cousins, family talk. And then the military, now I'm in the military, I'm training Marines. I have platoons of 90 Marines that I got to confidently speak to 90 Marines and teach them how to be a Marine. You know, I got a kid straight from high school, don't know shit, still on his mom's tit. And I got to teach him how to be a man in 3 months, 13 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm talking to all these, and then I'm teaching seminars, and I'm teaching corporals courses, and I'm training junior Marines, and I'm training enlisted Marines, and I'm working with officers and teaching them and showing them, like, just confidence. That the confidence came from the Marine Corps.
Okay.
The command presence, the chip on the shoulder, the head up, all that came from the Marine Corps. You know, some of it stems from my roots growing up, but it came from the Marine Corps. And you put the Marine Corps training with my Brooklyn upbringing, smash them together with whatever I learned from David Marquez's TV program, and now you got me. And then just I would say that it really, really popped off after I left AEW and MLW handed me a live mic. Once MLW started giving me a live microphone to go out there and talk, it was a wrap. Everybody's like, oh shit, this is like, he understands.
We ain't forget shit, bro. We know what it's like to come from the slums. We know what it's like to come from the ghetto. We know what it's like to come from rock bottom. I'm gonna tell you this, rock bottom, it teaches you lessons mountaintops never will.
Now, that's super important to be able to have that. I think a lot of people do not have the mouthpiece, don't have the talk, and like that, you know, that's like a lot of the game. So what do you say to some of these people? And like, as you said, like, it's a progression. You're training people, you're doing all this, that may think, oh, I want to be a wrestler. And then they're not speaking up at work. They're in meetings and they're quiet. Like, what would your advice be? Obviously it was just in you, but to somebody that, you know, because I meet a lot of these guys and they are timid. And when they get on the mic, it sounds like they're pretending to be a wrestler doing a promo, not actually like living it.
Honestly, I hate it.
What a match you had with Motley.
Yep. Probably the hardest match I ever had in my life. But I don't like it when things aren't going my way.
You know, I try teaching promo seminars all the time. The people that show up, they learn. I teach a lot, man. I got a whole thing breakdown of how I teach promos and how I talk to people about promos. So whenever I'm having a promo seminar, people got to come out. They'll learn some shit. The best way I put it is that I tell people is like, do you want to be a wrestler or do you want to be a star? Because only one of them makes real money.
Right. That's the stars. Yeah.
And to get from wrestler to star, it's the mic work. It's the character work. Because anybody could do the moves. I mean, not anybody. Let me retract that statement. But the moves only gets you so far. That's why I see certain people and I look at them and they brag about being the best professional wrestler. And they may be the best professional wrestler, wrestling wise.
Right.
But everything else, they don't got it.
Yeah.
They don't have the confidence. They don't have the character. What they say doesn't look real, doesn't look organic, doesn't feel natural. The crowd doesn't believe it. You know, for me, like, I understood this part. I understood that in order to become a champion, in order to make a lot more money in this business, in order to make it on TV and get TV time, you need to have this. You need to be able to talk talk just as much as you can walk the walk. Otherwise, you'll be, you know what I'm saying? You'll be the guy that people are like, oh, he's a good wrestler, but you're easily forgettable.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Every time, I mean, that's what drew me to you is like, okay, this guy likes running his mouth and he's good at it and he don't give a shit. Like, he does his thing. But I think that it's also like people that aren't wrestling fans or anything, that's a huge life skill. Like, you can go to wrestling training just to learn shit like that, where you can speak better, where you can be more confident. Because I think if you get in the ring, you could pretty much get up and talk anywhere. But, you know, again, with you, that's a natural.
I mean, public speaking is like one of the most biggest fears in the world, you know, like it's nothing being able to talk in front of people. You know, I take acting classes. I go to acting schools. I go to filmmaking schools. Like, I get tons of auditions where I'm auditioning, practicing different characters for different roles. Because I'm not playing Danny Limelight on TV for Netflix and Amazon and all this other stuff. I'm playing whatever character, John Smith or whatever the hell it is that character description is. You know, they give you a breakdown and it says, okay, you're going to audition for the role of this guy. This is his character description. This is what he is, da-da-da-da. And then they give you a piece of paper with words. And the words could say, I love you. But there's 100 million different ways to say, I love you.
Right.
The way I tell my daughter, I love you is different than the way I would tell my grandma, I love you. Or the way I would tell my shorty, I love you. You know, like, it's being able to break that down and understand the meaning behind what you're saying. So I translate all of that into wrestling. Everything I learned in acting school, in technique and scene studying and breaking down scripts and screenplays and theater work, all that shit that I learned, I just transfer it over to wrestling. Okay. They used to give me a paper. You know, this is no shots fired at Daniel Hill, the writer at United. I got a lot of love for him. But the first time I showed up, he gave me a paper and was like, this is what we want you to say. And I looked at this shit and I looked at Boogie and I looked at Papa and I was like, I'm not saying this shit. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Professionally, because I got a lot of love for him. And he's good. Daniel's an actor as well. Like, he does a lot of work. He played Dusty Rhodes on Young Rock. He's done a lot of stuff. He has a lot of accolades in the acting community. And I said, what is the point that you want me to bring? And he's like, oh, this is the point. I was like, all right, I got the rest. Did the thing, killed it. From then on, he'll give me the paper and say, this is the points, but do what you do. Because he trusts me to deliver the message. That was another thing when I was at MLW with Boogie. You know, they would give us a paper and it'd be like 5150, because we was part of 5150 LAX with Conan. 5150 parties with Dario Cueto holding 40s. Me and Boogie look at each other and was like, 40s?
What is this?
Who drinks 40s? You know, like, who drinks 40s in 2021? You know, like,
so I've seen those, man.
Me and Boogie was like, nah, let's see if we could get a bottle of Henny, you know, and make this us.
Yeah.
And then they started trusting us to produce pretty much our own segments. Me and Boogie was pretty much producing our own segments at MLW, because they would hand us papers and be like, we'll do this.
Okay.
And it worked, you know, but to get to that point, to have these companies trust you with your mouthpiece and stuff like that, it's not shots at those companies. It's not shots at anybody. It's the fact that I'm confident with a microphone in my hand. That's why I say mic on, safety off, because you don't know what's going to come out my mouth, but the people are going to listen. They're going to care.
Right.
And that, to me, is one of the most important parts of professional wrestling. If you can't tell a story with your mouth, I don't care what you could do in the ring. I really don't, because no one's going to care after the bell rings.
Yeah, that's always been my thing. I mean, as a wrestling fan, I've been a wrestling fan since like tiny, and it's the talkers that pull you in, man. And it's like those characters. But I'm definitely a heel guy, and like, so let me ask you about that. Like, obviously in life, we want to tell people off, we want to talk shit, and now we're in this society where everything, you got to watch what you say.
Yeah.
But you're able to get in there, and I mean, you be saying some stuff. I'm like, damn. How do you feel? Like, number one, are you just going through the motions, or do you feel like, damn, that
I'm never going through the motions.
okay.
I'm never going through the motions.
Do you ever feel bad?
No.
Like,
For all you people who don't speak Spanish, I had to come to Tijuana, the of the world, where the women drink too many modelos, and you get real fat and ugly, and the men don't get it huevos, and the wrestlers can't wrestle without weapons.
Don't feel bad. I'm going to tell you why. Professional wrestling is an art. It's a sport, right?
Yeah.
People are coming to wrestling shows to be entertained.
Yeah.
Say what you will. People think wrestling is fake. Oh, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the case is, it's still up to me while I'm in the ring to make them believe whatever's happening in the ring, right?
Yeah.
To entertain them, right? Back in the days in Roman theater and Greek theater and stuff like that, this is my little mini pin right here. She be chilling. The Romans will have the gladiators fight to death, right? And they're in there and they just swinging their swords and all that stuff, right? And then at the end, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, do you yield? And then you get executed, right?
Mm-hmm.
People in there are being entertained. We don't have the luxury, you know what I'm saying? We're not fighting to the death in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
We entertain them different ways, right? When I come out there and I have a microphone in my hand, they know what is this asshole gonna say. They'll probably call me a piece of shit, an asshole, Danny No Nuts, Limelight, whatever creative name comes to their mouth. What is he gonna say? I go out there and I say mic on, safety off for a reason.
Yeah.
The mic is on. I have no safety on this mouth. So whatever I'm feeling, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna make it make sense. I'm not gonna just go out there and curse and disrespect people. I don't go out there and just say fuck this, bitch that. I barely curse if you listen to my promos.
Yeah.
But I come out and I tell a story, and I always wrap it around to what the overall plot of the story is that we're telling. And then once I do that, it doesn't matter who comes out next, they're gonna get cheered for it. Because now everybody wants to see me get my ass whipped. And the crazy thing is, I'm just as good of a face as I am a heel. But most places I'm a heel. The only place I'm a face at is United Wrestling. And all my promos are face promos. Right. And the crowd eats that shit up just as much. And it's because I'm believing what I'm saying. Danny Limelight isn't a fake made up character that says things that I don't believe.
You say you're the mountaintop and I'm at the bottom looking down, that's fine. I'm comfortable there because my whole life I've been at the bottom looking up at people like you tell me I'll never make it any further than I am right now. And all my life, all I did was prove them people wrong.
That's me. I say exactly what I'm feeling. And it's organic and it's real. I don't cap in any of my promos. I'm not lying. If I say I'm going to be at the club with 2 bottles and 30 females, it's going to be females in a VIP section with bottles going up. If I say I'm going to Puerto Rico to party here and there, that's what I'm doing. If I say I'm going to come smack the shit out of whoever comes out that freaking ramp, that's what I'm going to do. Everything else is smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it. But it's my job to entertain. And I could do it because I believe what I'm saying. I'm confident in what I'm doing. And the only way you get better at promos for anybody listening is to practice promos. But I'll see a match card come out that says Danny Limelight versus this person, right? I'm gonna give RBJ his flowers. You know, Renegade Britain Jackson, yeah. I'm gonna give him his flowers because a flyer came out with me and his face on it, and very often I get flyers with me and whoever, and I cut a promo for every show I'm gonna be on because one, I like to talk shit. 2, it's practice. 3, people seeing like, oh, I want to see this match. Oh, I want to see this guy get his ass whipped or whatever. Yeah. He's one of the few people, and he's a rookie that clap back. Granted, his promo needs a lot of work. He's the promo seminar to learn, though. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, like, for me, like, if a wrestler could wrestle and grapple and do all that stuff, that's great. But so can that guy and that guy and that guy. Can you convince anybody watching that what you're saying is real?
Yeah.
Can you convince anybody watching on YouTube or at home or on Instagram or in person can you convince them to care about what you're doing? No, because you'll go there, you do a million spots, a million moves, match is over, ding, ding, ding. Then the next guy comes out, does the same exact thing.
Right. Yeah. So there's no differentiator there. And that's the thing is I talk to a lot of these young cats and it's like they got all the in-ring, like that's dope, and give them a mic and then they lose you completely.
They don't know what to do.
Like, oh, this is just a normal guy.
Like, oh my God, what do I do with this?
Yeah. Wrestling, you got to be bigger than life. So when you grab that mic and you just sound like my coworker that
exactly.
It's like, maybe not. Okay.
You got, you know what I'm saying? You have if you smell, you know what I'm saying? You had let's get ready to suck it. You know, like you had these characters, give me a hell yeah. You know, like you can just go John Cena, all the greatest promos in wrestling. The reason why they was a star and the champion is because they sold tickets based on what they said with their mouth.
Yeah, 100%.
They were entertainers. It's why Chris Jericho is one of the best wrestlers ever and why he's still relevant today because he constantly evolves with the times. Yeah. He's one of the best, if not the best on the microphone, and he's good in the ring. But you know when you see Chris Jericho coming out, you know you're going to be entertained.
100%. 100%. Now I believe that. So let's talk about. I mean, you keyed on a couple things earlier as far as people that we talk about circles. They say people that you hang around are a reflection of you. And first off, your daughter's mom, you said she paid for you to go to the class. Would you have been in wrestling had she not paid for you to go to this class?
I mean, honestly, I don't know because all my money was going to our bills, so I didn't have the extra money to do that. I think eventually maybe I would have figured it out, but that's neither here nor there because I don't need to think about that because she said, here's $150, go.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful thing in life is like people come in and do things that you don't even realize the impact until later. But talking about your circle, and somebody like me is like, I'm like on another level, but I have a core group, but 90% of the time I'm doing my own thing. Like, do you have a big crew of people you ride around, or do you just have like a small circle, or are you a loner?
So I have a small group of friends. I got Boogie, Boogie and Papo, those are my brothers in the wrestling business. Chris Bay is another person that I consider a brother that when I'm in his city, he's in my city, we link up, we go to the gym, we get food, we hang out. I don't invite a lot of people to my crib. He's been there. I've been to his crib. That's family right there. Same thing with Boogie. Who else can I say that I would consider like near and dear to my heart? For real. I got one of my good friends, my brother. His name's Miko Sad. He's an award-winning Egyptian filmmaker. He's one of the guys that kind of helped me get my foot into the door in Hollywood. He's introduced me to plenty of people in the stunt community that got me into stunt jobs. He's helped me. He directed my first feature, my first feature. He directed my first short film that won 6 awards at the festivals. Right now, actually, matter of fact, as we're filming this here, it's recording. Today's Thursday, November 2nd. Saturday, November 4th, 2 days, we'll be on set again. He's going to be executive producing and co-starring in another short film that I wrote and produced, and I'm starring in. So he's another person that I keep in my circle. I have, my best friend. Her name is Melissa. She got her master's degree. She's a teacher. She's kind of like someone I could talk to and vent to about certain things in my life. And we go out, we get food, we chop it up. My girlfriend, obviously, I've been with her almost a year now. Her name is Anna. She's from Mexico. She don't know shit about this shit. She don't know shit about wrestling. She don't know shit about, Hollywood and movies and shit like that. But as she's been with me, she's been learning about wrestling. She's been learning about, oh, this guy's good. This guy's not good. She's been watching film with me. Oh, this movie's good. Oh, he's a good actor. That's not, I didn't like that shot. So now she's learning it. But I mention her because she bring me peace, bro. The reason why she's been around for so long now is because she bring me peace. She keeps
He
me
said so long, 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably, yeah.
1 year in LA is like an eternity, I tell you.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about that, because like definitely, like for me, that's something I struggle with. Like I got a million things moving.
Yeah.
My time is limited. I might see you for an hour, a couple hours this day. I won't see you for 2 weeks because I'm in a project. How do you find that? I mean, obviously the peace part is what I look for. Like somebody that
was it, bro.
Yeah.
She lives with me now. Like,
okay.
I done moved her ass in. You stay right here.
So how is that balance with everything you got going on? Like I get the complaint all the time.
She don't be that busy. Out this last week, and I was in San Diego Friday, and then Vegas Saturday, Sunday for New Japan and FSW, and then I flew back Monday. I was gone the whole weekend wrestling.
Yeah,
I didn't get no where you at. FaceTime me. What time are you going to your hotel? Like she knows he's grinding. He's doing his thing. Like I let him do it. I check. I mean, I tap in with her like, hey, babe, what's up? What's good? How you doing? Stuff like that. But she not pressing me over shit. She makes sure when I'm home and I'm sore as hell, like right now, I blew my knee, right? I've been dealing with a fucking knee injury since September.
Yeah, how's that?
Making sure I'm taking vitamins. I'm taking my medicine. She's, hey, put your brace back on. Like she do stuff like that, And then, of course, like I spoil her ass. We go everywhere, I take her everywhere, Puerto Rico, Mexico, all different kind of states, different dates. Halloween just finished. We did all the spooky season. That's a fucking tongue twister. We did all the spooky season shit all of October. She loved Christmas. The house is already decorated for Christmas. Like I've never decorated for Christmas like this. November 1st, yesterday, I was up at 8 a.m. putting a tree up and all these Christmas decorations in the house to make her happy. So she's like, okay, I feel happy. I'm good. Like I fill her cup. She fills my cup. And so what the hell are you crazy over here humping my leg?
It happens. So would you consider yourself a relationship guy generally?
Not really, but I mean, when I'm in a relationship, I'm locked in. When I'm in a relationship, I'm locked in.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm the same
usually
too.
Usually I'm single.
Yeah,
but look, now that I'm in a relationship, I'm not at the clubs partying. Like I'm not at a club with 10 females around me popping Hennessy and tequila. Like I'm at the house.
One of the things that I realized about myself is that I'm an energy chaser. Like new projects bring new energy, new ventures, new women bring new energy. So like that's always a thing to like. I always question, am I missing out on something? Like, how do you overcome that? I mean, is it?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you that's it's not an easy battle. Temptation is everywhere. I get the DMs all the time. I get the messages. I get the old flames texting back like, "What's up? What you doing?" Like, the thing is that so many people wonder if the grass is green on the other side, but I believe the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
And temptation is hard. There are a lot of beautiful women in this world. But for me, I've experienced so much of the dating scene part. I used to promote at clubs in LA. Last year, I was in the clubs every night promoting, partying. I met so many different women. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are cool. Some of them are fun, but it ain't shit out there.
Yeah.
I know that, okay, what? I'm going to go pop off, get mines. They get theirs.
And then what?
Times, and then what?
Yeah, well, like you said, she brings you peace, and peace is priceless. That's what I'm.
I ain't trying to stress out about what this female doing, and I'm not trying to have somebody texting me wondering what I'm doing. If my shorty knows I'm good, she's good. I know she at the crib doing her thing, or she got customers coming in and she's doing nails because she does nails. Like, why am I gonna go chase some silly goose outside?
Yeah, amen to that. So tell me this: like when it comes to women in your life, what's the difference with her?
I just think that it was right timing. I think I'm a little bit more mature right now than I was. I think I was ready for something serious, something, steady and consistent. My daughter's getting older, so like she knew I was a little playboy, and I can't be having my daughter look at me like I got all these different women around me all the time and stuff like that. I have a great relationship with my daughter's mom. I still take care of her when she needs something, and she don't ask for much. And I already got 2 kids from 2 different women. So like, it's about time to slow down,
Speaking of your daughter, man, I'm going to play this clip real quick. She's a beast, man. And we'll talk a little bit about she's different, man.
Look at this. What the hell? What is she she doing? Symbiote DDT to Bodie by a person half his age.
I tell you, right? Like that was magical, and that was the moment of the night. But
I was on Father's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
That proud. That shit made me proud.
So, I mean, when you talk about obviously she comes from the tree of Limelight there. What do you see in her? Because I see that same confidence. Like when she's out there doing that, and I watch some of her other stuff where she's doing the promo with you backstage, and just the way she talks, there is never I'm a little kid playing this role or doing a favor for my dad. She owns it.
Yeah.
And it's like
she's an actress, you know, like since she was little, we've been drilling this into her, you know, like she learned how to read quick. She learned how to active listen quick. She would always set the camera up at home and be like, hey kids, welcome to my channel, and open up like a toy and like do a review. And like she never posted on YouTube or nothing like that, but she was always in front of the camera. She loved taking pictures. So when she was old enough to really start getting into the industry, you know, she started acting. She booked her first audition was a cereal commercial. She booked it.
Want to go on tour? Sick. A tour sounds good.
Let the beat drop.
She booked the McDonald's commercial. She booked the film. She just finished the film with Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr. She's had scripts handed to her over and over where she has to get in character for these roles, and then she understands, you know. So when she came with me to the FSW, you know, she was Danny Limelight. Like I told her, I said, we're bad guys. This is the story. She understood the story that was going on with Bodie. I was like, you're going to get the microphone, say what you feel. And she told him straight up.
You didn't tell her what to say about your dad's not here?
No. I told him the story. I said, I've been saying that I'm going to be his step poppy. I gave her the character description of what we've been doing. I made her understand the story, and I gave her the free reins.
I'm gonna let my daughter handle my light work.
Oh, how sad. It's Father's Day and his dad's not here. But it's okay. Because my dad will be a new step-poppy.
I'm gonna be a new step-poppy.
If I would have, it would have been the same thing if I tried to coach her to tell her what to say, like Daniel or the producers at MLW giving me a script and saying, say this. It's not going to be real. She's going to sit there and try to remember what I told her to say, especially when it's her first time, at least 500 people in the building, sold out show. I let her say what she wanted to say, and I think she killed it.
She's a savage, man. Like, yeah, she said it's Father's Day and your dad ain't here. How sad.
Yeah, don't worry, my dad'll be how sad. Don't worry, my dad'll be your step poppy.
Yeah. Well, she's got it, man. You talk about different. Like, she's definitely going to be a savage there. She is a savage now, but like that, how does that feel as a parent? Like, you know, just to see her. I see the look on your face.
Her mom doesn't watch my wrestling stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, I'm sure she follows up every once in a while. She see what's going on. But when I told her, I said, Khaleesi's with me in Vegas. This is the link to Fight TV. I said, order the pay-per-view. You won't regret it. That's all I said. I didn't tell her anything else. And she ordered it to watch. And she called me after. She went crazy. She was like, oh my God. And like for us, like my daughter right now, she's playing flag football with boys, right? And for me, like, it's about breaking the generational cycle, right? Like what my dad showed me was be a hustler, you know, but they were in the streets. What I'm showing her now, I'm opening all these doors. And even if I never go on to WrestleMania or to win an Oscar, by the time it's all said and done, I would have opened up enough doors and networked with enough people that her path will be a lot easier than mine was. Because I did all this shit on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the nepotism of somebody in the industry of wrestling or Hollywood. You know, I knocked these doors down myself. And I feel like I've built a pretty good foundation of connections within wrestling and Hollywood. And my Hollywood family tree, as I like to say, is growing more. But my wrestling family tree is pretty big now with connections. You know, I know that I could call Joe DeFalco from FSW and be like, Joe, my daughter's trained, ready to rock. Like let's get her booked. You know what I'm saying? I know. Does
she have ambition to wrestle?
She loves it. She loves wrestling. She loves film. She loves TV shows. She has her own personal goals. She wants to be a phlebotomist. You know, but that's going to require a different kind of schooling. That's something that I'm not going to be able to teach her. She's going to have to learn that for herself.
How old is she?
She'll be 10 in April.
She want to be a phlebotomist.
That shit crazy. You know, I don't
that's ambition right there.
But like she puts it every first day of school, her mom takes the picture with the little sign, and every year it changes. Like last year was, I want to be the president and a wrestler. This year said, I want to be a phlebotomist and an actress when I grow up. Like, so it always changes, but she always keeps wrestler or actor in there somewhere. And that's her. And if it changes as she gets older, so be it. But at least if she wants to, she'll have the connections through me.
Right. Now that's dope. And then you also have your son. And I watched the video, like he came to a show or something. You hadn't seen him in a while. Was there a thing and reunited?
I just met him. He was.
Well, I see pictures of when he was little. Like
yeah, like I had just. So I met him briefly when he was born. When he was little. The situation with the moms is a little complicated.
Drama, yeah.
And they went MIA for 4 years. So I didn't meet him again until he was 5, about to be 6. My daughter's birthday is April 20th. His birthday is April 19th. Oh, wow. So they're like right back to back. Yeah. So when I met him again in March, the video you're talking about, he just found out I'm his dad.
Your dad is no longer gonna miss any more time with you. I promise. I love you.
Yeah. So he thought someone else was his dad this whole time. Yeah. So it's a very complicated situation that we're figuring out.
But they live in LA too. They're in that area.
They're in San Diego.
Okay. So not too far. But so how is, like, just as being a parent, you know, and obviously, I mean, like, just I could sense it in you, but with the way you move, you got a lot going on. Like, is that a challenge when it comes to parenting? Not being there, like homework and this and that, or are you? Or
like my daughter right now, she lives in Hawaii. So I see her every now and then. I see her for Christmas, winter break. Summer, she's with me the whole summer. I go there to see her in April for her birthday. And then I make other trips to Hawaii when I can, based on my schedule. It is difficult. I travel a lot. I'm always booked. And then on top of that, I'm a full-time student. Yeah. So it's challenging, but my daughter, she calls me every day. I talk to my daughter every day. My son is a little bit different, but we're trying to figure that stuff out. It's challenging. It's not how I envision being a father. Obviously, like I envision my kids living with me. Right. It's just not like that right now. And then it's even harder when you have 2 different kids from 2 different moms. Yeah. They have their own life and their own stuff going on, and their own plans going on, and their own families going on. So we make it work, you know. And you know, as the kids get older, it'll be easier because then they can decide what they want to do, you know.
Yeah. I think that kids definitely there was. Later in life, you learn a lot of lessons as far as what your parents did and what drove them, you know, in a different angle. And I had to, when I moved to Vegas, my son was in the Bay and his mom was like, he can come live with you. So like, I'm here with a 3rd grader, you know, it's just me and him and I'm still acting a fool out here. But I had those moments. And even that, I wasn't, you know, you ask him, I wasn't the greatest dad ever, but, you know, but I was there. So I don't know, you know, but your daughter, she's got her head on straight, like she's doing amazing things.
You feel like it's better, your relationship is better now?
Me and my son?
Yeah.
So we had a dope relationship when he was here, but I was so caught up in I was rapping, I was doing my music, and I was still Playboy, you know, of the year. So I was still being cool. I wasn't instilling everything that I probably should have now that I'm like, oh, I should have done this a little bit different. So yeah, we're good. He's very independent, does his own thing. But I always think of what if she didn't let him come out? Would I have never seen him? You know, then it would have been bad. But so I've been blessed, you know, to have that situation. So as we talk about that, and like, obviously, so hats off to you. Like, kids are amazing. Your daughter's a savage, man. I'm a huge fan of her.
She's a blessing.
When you go through life, and obviously, I mean, family could trigger that, kids could trigger that. But when I see you, you're that guy. When people see you, there's that guy. But I know also people say the same thing about me, but behind the scenes, sometimes there's them dark days, the days I question myself. Do you have days like that?
Everybody has days like that, man. Every dog has their day, you know. But you know, like Scarface once said, every day above ground is a good day.
Amen.
So for me, when I have my adversities or my trials and tribulations and I'm struggling, I think about how blessed I am. I think about how I, everything that I wanted to do in life so far, I've been able to do. I survived 10 years in the Marine Corps. I'm a professional wrestler. There's times where, I look back and say, damn, I remember when I used to say, I wish I can be on TV. Yeah. I wish I can wrestle for AEW or New Japan. I wish I could do this. I could do that. I wish I become champion. And now I'm doing that. I wish I could work for Netflix. And now I have a Netflix show coming out with Michelle Yu this coming year. I wish I could be in on the big screen in theaters, and I've done that. Or, so when you look at those days where you're depressed or you're sad or you're feeling some type of way or you're in your mood, for me, I try to stop for a moment and say, but look at everything else that I've got going for me. I have two beautiful kids. I have, people that love me. I have people that I have motivated and inspired, and I think that for me, I've hit my lowest of lows, and now I'm riding this wave of a high where I'm just now entering my prime. I'm just now going towards what I've always envisioned for myself. And I think that when I eventually write my book, From Streetlights to Limelight, I will break all of it down and say, this is how far I've come, from hearing that whistle, my dad doing his whistle while I'm outside in the streets fucking off. And there's the street lights. They turned on. It's time to go home. To now, okay, here's Poppy Limelight, award-winning filmmaker, pro wrestler, and movie star. Like that's the story. That's when I go, it's not as bad as I think it is. This isn't as hard as I think it is. I can overcome this.
Yeah. Do you give yourself the credit that you've earned?
I do now. I used to never, but I do now.
Yeah, that's dope. And so we talk about like kicking out, like, like I'll go through shit, but I keep this book of blessings, and it's a detailed book of every time when I thought my goose was fucking cooked. Yep. It's like something popped up or, I found a way out. And it's just a reminder that like, you're going to be good regardless. Yeah. Like when I get down, I just go to that book and like, yeah, what's the best that can happen? Let's go. Do you have any rituals? Like I'm a big on journaling. Every morning I journal, I meditate. I'm deep on some next level habits. Do you have any morning routines or daily routines that keep you right?
Gym. I like to read. I got books. I have a little library right here of books that I like to read.
What are you reading right now?
Right now, if you promise not to to laugh at me, I'm reading a book. I'm reading a book called Eat That Frog.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. Yep. That's what I'm reading right now. I also have a book here called Voice and the Actor, and it's working on my speech. It's a book for acting. How to certain ways to say certain words and how to perfect certain dialects and how to use your voice as a weapon. How to speak from here. So that's what I like to do. I like to work out. I like to read. I write a lot. I'm working on the script for Saturday. I'm touching things up, fixing things. And then, like iced tea. That's my go-to. I love iced tea. Okay. I drink a lot of black iced tea. I don't really have any other ritual other than that. Gym, read, write.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like writing for me is therapy. I write like every morning, but I journal. But one of the fucked up things is like you see all these loops you go through. It's like I was doing this shit 3 years ago, and it kind of fucks with you. But a lot of people go.
But then you look at the things you were doing 3 years ago and say, "Damn, I've come this far too." Facebook memories is another thing I look at every day, and I see the stuff that I was talking about back then and how far I've come. Like it's crazy. It really is, how we constantly evolve. And for some people, it's slower than others. Some people, transformation and change takes longer than others, and you just got to be grateful that you're able to evolve, that you're able to transform, that you're able to grow from these adversities and these struggles.
Yeah. And I think that's very key. And, like I put in so much work to stay stoic and stay strong. There's so many people, and like I've lost a lot of friends to like suicide and depression, and it's like I think just them knowing that you can kick out and tomorrow's another day, it's gonna get better. Like, do you have male friends? I do. I call my friend in the Bay like every day. Mental health check. Let's go. Like, and he could cry, whatever it is. Like, let's just talk. Do you have people like that?
I got my core group of friends. You know, Melissa, Christina, my friend Miko. I check on Boogie. I check on Chris Bay. We talk. But I wouldn't say that I have like a mental health group, or like a mental health check, which I think is really cool that you have that. I just have my same group of people that I always hit up, and just see how they're doing. I got a good group of friends that I go to the gym with. I have, Tyler, Chris, Michelle, her husband, Eric. They come work out with me every day, or when they have the time to work out, and we just see how everybody's doing in the gym. We shoot the shit, work out. But there's I think that, the friend group is always evolving. I never want to be the richest guy in the room. I never want to be the smartest guy in the room. I want to constantly make sure that I have a different set of friends for certain things. I have my wrestling friends. I have my personal life friends. I have my acting friends and groups of places and people that help me grow and help me evolve.
Yeah. No, that's dope. And tell me this, like, I mean, we all deal with stuff, but what would you say is your biggest vice right now?
Biggest vice.
Something you would like to change about yourself and something that maybe you just haven't got to yet for whatever reason.
Man, I just want to continue to develop my relationship with right now. What the stuff that I think about the most in my relationship with my son, and how it's not where I wanted to. It's not like my relationship with my daughter, and obviously every relationship with every kid is gonna be different. But I would like to try to like make that shit grow. Like it's not where it should be. It's not even halfway where it should be, and that's something that I really want to change.
No, yeah, that's beautiful. Speaking of your kids, like, I mean, obviously you've been through a lot, and a lot of times we go through and we try to teach, and kids don't want to hear it. They kind of see it through watching or through osmosis. But if you have one lesson, Danny Limelight, this is you're granted one lesson that you could pass on, that you've learned to your kids. What would that lesson be?
You gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. You stop breathing, you die. Whatever it is that you want in life, you gotta pursue it 100% with everything you got. Never give up on yourself. Never listen to the doubters. Never listen to the haters. Just know that if you every day are in tune with yourself and you are working towards whatever it is that you want to achieve, it's going to happen. It may happen faster for others, but if you never stop, it'll happen. And if you do stop, it'll never happen. So you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. So as we wrapping it up here, man, I appreciate your time, number one. Like, I don't just, this is what the difference. And I got a list of people that I'm like, this is a magical motherfucker. Like I'm talking to them. Like obviously Bay's on there. The first time I met Chris Bay was like, I knew he was on a different level. But you meet those kind of peoples, and I just want to spread that message. So as we go through, I mean, we are, Marine. Right?
Yeah.
Actor, writer, father, pro wrestling champion. And let me just say something to people that ain't wrestling fans. It's like, they didn't give him a belt. He didn't win the belt. To get the belt and be the heavyweight champion of any organization, you got to be a draw. You got to be doing your job to the best of your ability to bring people in. So that is a huge account. That's like knocking people out all day, every day. That's what you do. It's a different industry. So y'all need to let that go. But with all that said and done, end of the day, you've done a lot. Well, first, before we get to that, what's next for you?
I just want to, first of all, I want to become the FSW heavyweight champion, get Selena, get my hands on Selena. I want to continue to wrestle all over the place. I want to wrestle the best wrestlers in the world. I want to get to WWE. And then obviously outside of the wrestling world, I want to continue my career in Hollywood. Bigger roles, bigger opportunities, continue to write. And then I want to eventually write my book, like that's the long term, and wrap it all up and retire somewhere beautiful.
Yeah. So tell me this, like when you're writing a book and I could see it's like, oh, once I get to this point, I'll write it. What is that point when you're like, oh, now I can write it? And if you don't hit that point per se, are we never going to get the book?
Nah, we get the book. I've already started like bullet points of like
treatment
what I want to talk about in this book. I guess I'm waiting to see if what I really want to happen happens. And if it does, that's when I'll start the actual writing. But I told myself by the time I'm 40, I should have this book published. You know, that gives me 8 more years to accomplish certain things. And I think that that's a fair amount of time. And even if I don't accomplish what I want to accomplish up until that point, I'm still going to write it.
Yeah.
You know, God willing, I'm still here, you know?
Yeah. No,
but if not, I have the bullet points of what I want talked about, a little outline, and someone will have to write the biography. You know?
Yeah, send it to me. I got you. Send me the notes. But nah, I think that's dope, and I think you're gonna like whatever you set your mind to, man. I don't know if you believe in manifestation and everything, but you put that energy out there and like you move towards it, and I think that's beautiful. So again, we're talking Danny Rivera, Danny Limelight, wrestler, actor, parent, a little bit writer, reader,
a little bit of everything. You know, I'm doing it for me gente, my people. You know, I just want to be an inspiration to everybody. Anybody listening right now, there's more to me than just mic on, safety off. There's more to me than just my little dance. You know, like I got a lot going for me. I'm doing a lot. I'm helping a lot of people. I'm raising, you know, my kids and trying my best to set them up for success. And I feel like, you know, the difference is this, man. Like you either go get it.
Hold on. That's my final question.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm
taking your moment, man.
Yeah. What's the difference?
The difference is, fuck. The difference is a lot of people, you know, saying they're going out and getting it. A lot of people are saying that they're doing this and they're doing that and they're working towards this and they're working towards that. The difference is I'm actually doing it. I know that I'm checking in with myself every day. Did I go to the gym? Am I eating right? You know, am I getting my sleep in? Am I spending time with my daughter, my son? Am I making contacts with them? Am I teaching them about life? Am I putting it all in the ring? Am I putting it all on these auditions? Am I really taking enough time to sit down and write? Am I doing all the things that I'm saying that I'm doing? Yes. And I think that that's the difference, is that a lot of people talk a lot, and talk is cheap, except when it's coming out of my mouth.
There you have it. Well, I tell you, I learned a lot about you during this, and I like hats off to you again. It's been a pleasure. I know you're out here, what, the 19th for the
Rumble.
Is that the next one?
Numero uno.
Yeah. So that might be big time. But I appreciate you taking the time,
of course,
you know,
bro,
to do this and chopping it up. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that's the difference.